I've become addicted. I love it here.
The gardens look amazing, and yeah, the growth is incredible.
This project is us taking ownership of our commons, that this is public space and it's owned by all of the people.
It's amazing. Just this idea inspires so many people, and they gather around it and bring their energy to the table. It's really powerful.
A food forest, it emulates a natural forest, except we're planting things that human beings can use.
And it looks to create more of an ecological food production gardening. So it's sort of urban agriculture.
Up until the Space Needle and then the other skyscrapers being built in the 1960s and 70s, this stood as the tallest building.
But height isn't everything.
It's instantly recognizable in the skyline, especially with the pyramid on top.
Even now, because of its whiteness, it still is quite evident in our skyline.
That bright white color comes from the glazing of the terracotta, a cost-effective material that comes with an added benefit.
It's almost self-cleaning too, because as I understand, the building has only had to be cleaned one time in its history. I think the rain pretty much just washes the dirt off.
But for all its functions, Smith Tower is still, really, all about its form.
It has such a unique design to it. It stands out so much from the newer buildings that you see today, the glass boxes, the concrete buildings from the 80s.
So while its size may have been dwarfed in the last 100 years, its stature certainly has not.
Even as we are growing quite quickly as a city, I think a lot of people kind of hold on to the nostalgia of the Smith Tower.
This truly was to last for a very, very long time.
Welcome to Kittitas Valley. We don't smoke marijuana here. We don't take LR trips on LSD. I basically shoot my life as I live it, and not all moments are created equal. You go to the dentist, I don't want to photograph that. These other moments where there's something happening in front of you, these beautiful moments, that's what you photograph. It's almost cinematic. It just happens right in front of you, and you snagged it by accident. It's like a fish went by the river and it ran into your hook. It didn't even swallow the hook. You hooked it by the tail. I had always been shooting, and to this day I shoot all the time. It's like being a drug addict, I suppose. These trains are so long you can actually reload your camera.
Hours before sunlight washed over the Seattle skyline, they were already there, by the hundreds outside Key Arena. What time did you get here?
Be here last night, 10
p.m.
10 p.m.
So you've been waiting for 6-7 hours already?
Yes.
The rain fell, the darkness came, and so did they, to a free clinic partnership between Seattle King County Health and a nonprofit called Remote Area Medical.
It's cold. We were outside.
Mothers and husbands, the homeless, and the new working poor, lining up for a chance at basic health care.
If you're here to see the dentist, just raise your hand and show us your number.
Being able to carve through the wax and expose the underlayers, I find really exciting too. Mainly I work on board panels and fuse the wax onto the panel first, and then I'll incorporate color and work with a hot tray, which is sort of like my watercolor palette. I can take my wax cakes and mix them and blend them and paint onto the board like it's watercolor. The oil and caustic helps me flow freely. It makes me work outside the lines. I used to be very into realism, and encaustic just kind of shattered that realm for me. always exciting melting it. So that's the part you always wonder, is it going to do what I want?
That's all the loose paint out there.
And neither are the hands, bringing them back to life.
And if there's any loose paint, we gotta take it off.
Jim Jackson has a passion for planes.
The fabric goes over here and there's a metal strip that goes in.
He's one of 70 volunteers who spend 1 or 2 days a week fixing up vintage aircraft at the Painfield Restoration Center in Everett.
It's always interesting to see what people did in the past.
It's a nuts and bolts history of flight, a history Jim Jackson knows firsthand.
I think about all the people that have lived in these apartments, these hotel rooms, all their stories, how they contributed to the city, how they contributed to Chinatown. Even though they may be simple stories, they're all important. I had an early fascination with photography. I had a camera. It was a Brownie camera. But I remember taking pictures of some of my friends down here. I continued learning photography at the UW. This led to me being involved in a group of minority students in the School of Communications wanting to organize.
On your mark.
Welcome to the Washington State Senior Games, a yearly event for athletes where age is just a number.
I'm up to where I was in high school.
6 events. I'm 82.
95 to 99 men's discus, George Roswell, first place.
We have several 100-year-olds that compete actually, but our oldest was a 102-year-old golfer.
Track and field, swimming, bowling, and more. The 50-plus crowd shows up to test their mettle and perhaps win one too.
Each piece of wood is different. The sound, the feeling, the hearing, and the look of it. I guess it would be like turning a page at the beginning of a story. To shape it out, each shaving it falls. There's a page, there's a page. I guess it's proof there what your mind and heart can do. After a while, you quit hearing anger and hate. You started to see the people really admiring and thanking us for taking such a terrible thing and giving something beautiful and positive back. You know, that could have went the other way, but in my heart that we did the right thing by staying calm. He walked by. I told Dennis, that guy's gonna join us. Next day, Huey shows up.
I didn't know who Rick was. I didn't actually know anything behind other than what was in the paper. And Rick asked me if I would like to volunteer. And I said, well, what better project? It's saying something, it's something that needs to be done. He's doing a super thing for his brother. And I like working with wood. And I enjoy seeing something come together. See every little grain go where it's supposed to. Brighten up something new.